Hello, beautiful people. It is Tuesday, February 7th, and we are live. Welcome back to the Catching Flies podcast. I am Stephen Burton. We're 4.5 days away before the Super Bowl, and we're ready to break it all down, make some picks, give you some gambling info. Here to help me do that, of course, he has a master's degree. He knows more about the Super Bowl than the NFL. One day, he dreams of hosting the halftime show. The Greek philosopher, Pete Nakatis. What's going on, Petey?
Now, if we're gonna have me host a halftime show, it's gonna have to be the studio portion. Okay, we're not gonna have me. We're not gonna have me on that stage doing anything, unless you want to set the record for the lowest ratings in Super Bowl halftime history.
I know
Hey,
you know that
everybody.
Janet Jackson
Right.
routine.
Well, yeah, maybe I can do that part of it. Yeah. Actually, I volunteer for that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Welcome. It is the Tuesday before the big game. Traditionally, this has been media day. I think they're still keeping to that tradition.
Yeah.
Not sure anymore. I couldn't wait for media day. I mean, I don't know why. It's like just play the game. Let's get it over with. Situation. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. And while we have you here, if you haven't already, please, that little button right there beneath the screen, hit that subscribe button for us, please. It really helps the channel. Really helps our ability to pump out more content and potentially pump out more content in the future as well. We look forward to that opportunity. We just need to know y'all love us just a little bit, and that subscribe button will do it for us. So would really appreciate that. Moving on now to Super Bowl Sunday. This is my little holiday. This is the 1 day a year where I want this to happen. I'm watching the Super Bowl. There's no other holiday in the calendar year where I'm definitely locked into an activity the way I am.
No matter what.
Way I am, I'm locked into Super Bowl Sunday. So looking for. I wish my team was there, but I understand why they're not. And we've got two good teams here going at it: Philadelphia, Kansas City. Steven didn't mention we're gonna have some little gambling info for you. Yep, we're gonna make our picks. We're gonna see how that stands up against the spread and the over under. And we also each picked out some prop bets that we might want to engage in. Not necessarily recommending they be bet. The way prop bets generally work is you kind of have an idea of how you think the game's going to go, and therefore you make your prop bets. Personally, I didn't get into a whole lot of who's going to score first, who's going to do this first. That can be random. Just kind of go with proper game props. That's just what I'm doing. That doesn't mean that's what Steven's doing. I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what I'm doing. That's the fun part of this. And whatever works for everybody works for everybody. But the estimation this year is that about $16 billion will be bet on the Super Bowl. So if the sports book can clear 10% of that, they're going to be making on total $160 million. That's obviously not going to be all in one book or all in one city, but that's about what you can expect. Whatever the betting public puts out there, the sportsbook hold would be close to 10%. So good for them, I guess, right? We're in the wrong business.
Definitely a holiday for them as well.
So we're going to mix it up this week. We're going to actually go straight to predictions. And then you're right. Usually we save that for the end. We're going to go straight to the predictions. And then from there, that's gonna involve us into the prop bets. It's gonna let us. It's gonna direct us, kind of. It'll let you know why we're making the bets that we are. So, Steven, I'll let you holler this one first. Eagles Chiefs. Break it down. Give us a score if you want. Whatever your game is, man.
Well, Philly, as everyone knows, is running hot right now, coming off of a pretty dominating win over your Niners. They did get a little lucky that Purdy tore his elbow up so early because there's just literally no threat of a pass basically for 3 quarters. So, but same time, they dominated that game, and the Chiefs are coming off a game where it was a grind, it was a battle with the Bengals. They prevailed. no matter how they prevailed. But I think that being said, I like the Eagles in this game. I think their offense is just too high powered right now. They're humming. They've got credible offensive line, credible defensive line. And I think that's where the difference is going to be in this game. I think Philly's O line is going to dominate the Chiefs' D line and allow that offense to just do what they do, and that's score points. Um, I like Philly to win. I like them to win pretty handedly. I'm thinking like a 34-17, a 30, you know, maybe a 31-21, somewhere around that ballpark. I like Philly to win, and I like them to win pretty easily, honestly.
I'm not too far
Oh,
away from that. Yeah. The image I can't get out of my head for the last few days is that the Eagles are going to take control of the game early. I see a lot of outside runs, RPO types. I think Philly's going to air it out a little bit more early than we might be expecting them to. Actually, the Eagles have been a little bit heavier first half pass team and much heavier second half run team. And part of
yeah,
that is the fact that they're ahead of people. When
yeah.
you're leading, you run the ball. Unless you're the
Build a
Falcons,
lead, run the
unless you're the
clock out.
Falcons, you run the ball, right? I mean, so by the way, offensive coordinator of that game, Kyle Shanahan, my head coach. Anyway, moving on from that horrible memory. So my image that I can't get out of my head is Eagles 20, Chiefs 3 at halftime. I don't know why. And just 20-3, because that feels like they should be. Anytime you see 3 points on the board, you're thinking about 4 points that aren't on the board. That's the way I look at it. So when you
Absolutely.
see 20-3, you're seeing two field goals there. That could look like a 28-3 or a 28-7 kind of game. So I think it's going to be more offensive. The last four Super Bowls have hit unders, kind of leaning toward an over on this one. Barely. It's 51.5. I've got a final score. It's really close to yours. I've got 34-20. Uh, Eagles win, which would just put it over the over under, and obviously would give Eagles the cover. So I'm confident, obviously, in my pick, but I'm more confident in that halftime score because the Chiefs are maybe better than anyone else. I'd rather have Mahomes leading a comeback than anybody else. Let's put it that way.
Oh
So if they're
yeah,
behind, he keeps you in the game. He's one of those few, the very few that can single handedly keep a team in the game because of his ability to improvise and scramble and whatnot. So that's why I see it over. I don't think it's going to look too much like the Buccaneers Super Bowl from 3 years ago. For one thing, there'll be people in the audience. And the other thing is that offensive line that day was just in tatters. So they're
yeah.
going to have their complement this season. Andrew Wiley and Orlando Brown sound better on paper, I think, than they are on the field, but I think they'll hold up a lot better than whatever practice squad combination they had in the Super Bowl in that game. So yeah, the Eagles defense is something else. They're stacked. They're
Yeah,
stacked. Who's the worst player on that defense? Marcus Epps. I mean,
the water
maybe.
boy
Yeah, and then Marcus Epps is a damn good safety, by the way. And
and
he might be the
former
worst
Viking.
player on that defense that starts. They're bringing all these dudes off the bench too. They build a deep team. Yeah, I mean, they're the best team in football. At least the two teams left, they certainly are, and it's their game to lose.
When you got a defensive front that has four different guys that has 10 plus sacks, I just keep coming back to that
Mm-hmm.
stat because to me that shows you how great of a team that the Eagles really are. And much like you, I think they're going to eat. I think they're going to get to Mahomes. He's going to do his Mahomes magic, scrambling sidearms, underhand flips, left-handed shovel pass, whatever it takes. The dude can do it.
Yeah,
And I'm not being hyperbolic right there. Like I mean it. He's going to do that, and he's going to complete some of it because
yeah.
he's that good. But I think eventually the magic will run out, so to speak, and Philly. I just basically don't think the Chiefs defense can stop Philly consistently
Not consistently,
enough
no.
enough to where, especially if they go down like say 10 or 14, like real quick, bam, bam, like a 3-and-out touchdown, 3-and-out touchdown, or some combination
Oh,
of
that'd be
that.
game over.
I really don't think they can build, afford to get down too much because I don't know if they're going to be able to come back.
Yeah, they're not against that defense. And remember, comebacks are often more often than not, comebacks are really blown leads. And does that Eagle offense, let's say the Chiefs offense kind of finds out the magic ingredients and they're able to move the ball while behind. That Chiefs offense, the Eagles offense would put a stamp on the game at that point. I don't imagine them going like back to back 3-and-outs, doing 7-step dropbacks, getting sacked, setting themselves up for holding penalty. I'm basically play by playing that Falcons Patriots Super Bowl right now. I mean, they're not going to do that. I can't possibly envision it. So, yeah, if the Eagles do something like what I think they might do and jump out to a halftime lead, it would take super extra Mahomes magic, which he's capable of course. And I just don't see it. To me, I'm still surprised that the spread's as close as it is.
Me too.
I guess the betting public can name Mahomes before they can name any Eagles players, and that's assuaging it. I guess. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I think a lot of the football minds that we know and a lot of the football minds we don't know personally all seem to be going toward the Eagles. So that doesn't mean we're all going to be right, of course, but it just if it plays out like it should, it's the Eagles' game to lose.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Well, now that we've kind of broke it all down, I wanted to say this before we hopped into
Uh-huh.
the gambling portion of this show. Obviously, if you're not 21 or older, don't be betting. If it's not legal in your state, let's be smart about it. You know, don't get yourself in trouble or nothing or
Right.
anything like that. So, and if you can't afford to lose $15, $20 or whatever you're betting, don't do it. Because none of these bets we're going to give you it's stuff we think is going to happen, but it's obviously not a lock. It's a gamble.
Yeah.
I throw $3 or $4, $4 or $5 here and there on different things. I can afford to lose $15, $20 if all the bets were to, lose. If you're not, then just bet responsibly. So with that being said, I wanted to get into some of the prop bets. I was really looking forward to this because they have a lot of fun ones for the Super
There's a
Bowl. I
lot.
mean, there's 1.5 million. I mean, but you want to start off, or do you want me to start
Yeah,
off with?
I'll kick one off
Yeah,
here. So I found an interesting one. The Eagles' first touchdown of the game. There's 3 options that they get. One of the options, I thought they'd get 4 options. I thought the 4th option would be that they don't score a touchdown. And it's possible. And we saw the Rams do that in the last time when they played the Patriots. They didn't score a touchdown. But they offered the first touchdown will be a pass, a run, or other. So other, of course, would be some kind of special teams or defensive touchdown. And the price on the pass caught my eye. It was plus 120. So just those of you who aren't completely aware with the terminology, if you bet 100, you'll win 120 by betting that. And of course, that would be proportional. You wouldn't have to bet the full 100. If you bet $10, it would win 12. If you bet $5,
right.
it would win 6 as a profit. So you bet 5 and they'll give you back 11. So yeah, the Eagles' first touchdown of the game being a touchdown pass. And doesn't necessarily say it has to be Jalen Hurts either. So he gets hurt, Minshew throws one, they do a trick play, someone else throws one. As long as it's a touchdown pass, their first touchdown. And I can see that. I can see them getting the ball
Absolutely.
inside the 10-yard line and the Chiefs defense just deciding we're going to stop this run. We're going to stop this run. And the danger of that is Hurts squirting out around the outside and scoring himself.
Right.
And the price on that's minus 130, which would mean if you wanted to win 100, you'd have to bet 130, which of course, again, is proportional. So if you bet $10, you get something like 8, just off the top of my head, doing the math.
Right.
But yeah, I could see Dallas Goedert potentially kind of slipping out of formation on a goal line play. You can see a fade to AJ Brown. All sorts of different possibilities. I don't know if we're going to see Philly special, but yeah, none of the guys from that player are even on the team anymore. So
Yeah.
some of them aren't even in the league. I don't believe Burton's in the league anymore. But
No.
Yeah, they get 2 guys. Or Clement played a little this year. But yeah, first touchdown of the game for the Eagles would be a passing touchdown. And this kind of gives you a hedge too. Let's say we got this all wrong and they fall behind. Let's
Right.
say they fall behind 21-0 or something. You can still win this bet. So
Yeah.
I like it. Plus 120, Eagles, first touchdown of the game will be passed.
No, I like that. That's you know, for a team that runs the ball a lot, they like to get down there and run play action, do the fake handoff, roll
Mm-hmm.
out, tight end to Goddard. I love what you said there because I have something similar to that for Goddard in a same game parlay. Philly winning, Goddard scoring a touchdown, and can't remember the other thing. But as far as props go, I like to have a little fun with them.
Sure.
I went looking through them, and they've got some real silly ones from how long the national anthem will be to the Gatorade bath color of the
Okay.
winning coach. So I did write that one down. They got yellow and green at plus 165 as of this morning,
Ooh, tight
with
race, tight race.
orange, right? With orange coming in at plus 300. They have 5 or 6 other colors. I didn't write them all down, but
Uh-huh.
it only gets higher odds from there. So, and I believe clear slash white for whatever reason they put was plus 1,200. So I think that's the overwhelming underdog in the
Huh.
Gatorade bath race, so to speak. Um, I'm gonna take one. I'm gonna just $2 or $3 on something just for
Uh-huh.
fun. I liked Philly's defense to score a touchdown
Okay.
and Philly to win a game. They have this at plus 1,100. So, like Pete was saying, $100 would return you 1,100. $10, $110. I'm gonna sprinkle maybe $4 or $5 on that just to take a shot because, like we think, if what we think happens if Philly gets out and it forces the Chiefs to throw the ball a lot, or you know they could or pin their they could be the defense can pin their ears back at that point and just blitz, 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 and you might get a sack, fumble, scoop and score. You might get a pick six.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with Philly's defense being as good as it is, I thought for the price, it's definitely worth a little sprinkling.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's a lot of things. One of the things you definitely want to look at. Even if you're not 100% sure something you're predicting will happen, if it does, and the payouts as strong as that one would be, then yeah, it's worth the swing. It's viable. It's completely viable for the Eagles defense to get a score.
I mean, even
And
$2 or $3 will get you like 40 or $50
sure, yeah,
for something like
so
that.
I like that. I like that one. I'm gonna go off the beaten path a little bit here with my next prop. Uh, Phillies. I was looking at these props actually. Let me make a larger point first. They are seemingly under the impression that only the top 2 or 3 offensive weapons from each team are going to be the ones contributing. And I always look for
Yeah.
that other guy who you don't expect to have any kind of game. I'm not saying that this next guy is going to have a huge game, but his receiving yards prop is at 11 and a half yards. And I see Quez Watkins going over that. Absolutely. I can see him doing it on one
Easily.
catch.
Yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
think the bet here is almost will Quez Watkins catch a pass?
That's it.
Is almost the bet. So I can see now the Chiefs secondary isn't bad, but they're young.
They got 2 rookie
There's
corner
yeah, they got I mean
starters.
they've got a third back there as well. And L'Jarius Sneed is still, as of the time of this recording, unsure whether he's gonna play. So
Okay.
I can
I did.
see a jailbreak kind of play where Quez Watkins, honestly, I can see him even having the longest reception of the game. He did that to the Niners last season during week 2 before the Eagles had really coalesced into the team they are now. And he caught like an 80-yard pass. It wasn't even a touchdown. It was like an 80-yard completion. We just happened to get him down
Wow.
before the goal line. Yeah, and we actually didn't kept them out of the end zone on that drive too. I think we kept them out of points. Period. I think they went for it on fourth and and didn't get it if my memory serves. That's been a year and a half now. I do remember that catch though, because I wound up adding into my fantasy team after that. But yeah, dude only needs 12 yards, and it's minus 115 in either direction. So if you do something like this, you pair it up with something else to get
Yeah,
yourself a
definitely.
positive juice. But yeah, 11 and a half yards for a guy like Quez Watkins, who isn't hugely talented on an NFL level. Of course, he can kick all our butts, but he would be a third receiver on most teams. So he's
Absolutely.
not the AJ Brown, Devontae Smith level, but for 12 yards, you don't need to be.
Right.
Absolutely not.
You
So
gotta think the Chiefs defense is gonna be honing on those two guys. So
yeah,
it's gonna free up a Goddard, a Quez,
yeah.
for little dump offs, check downs, quick outs, whatever. And if they're cheating over the top on one side and he gets a 1-on-1 and only, like you said, one catch at
Yeah.
12 yards is nothing. So I like that a lot. I'll probably try to add that in on a parlay of sorts.
Yeah, just be warned though, after this show, it's going to go up to like 13 and a half yards because I talked it up.
It very well could. I'm sure we're going to
Yeah,
bring
we'll
some
see.
extra money to it. Speaking of players that are kind of lesser known, I love Kenneth Gainwell to score and Philly to win. So what this is, they have these player parlays where it's like a certain player scores a touchdown and that team wins the game, not by a certain amount of points, no spread involved. They just got to win. So I took Gainwell to score and Philly to win at plus 700. Again, kind of like the Phillies defense to score, just a little sprinkle. $2 or $3 could win you, 17 to 25 range, depending. So it's like a low risk, high reward type bet. And if this game goes as we think, I think there's going to be 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns possibly, and I just hope he gets one of them.
You
So
could
I
argue, sorry.
go ahead.
I
No,
say
go
you could
ahead.
argue Gainwell's been their best running back in the playoffs. I mean,
He's been
I
very
like it.
explosive as of late. Throughout the season, he didn't get a lot of playing time, even really. I mean, or he just wasn't producing, and then for whatever reason, this playoff run, he's really coming kind of out of nowhere, and he's been going for 40, 50 yards a game, and just they run a lot of weird rushing formations that he ends up with the ball, and I mean, I think he's going to sneak one in. I think they could use shoot, I went blank. The other running back as a
Miles,
decoy.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sanders as a decoy, and get it to Gainwell. And on this one, it doesn't have to be a rushing touchdown
I
even.
was going
He
to
could
ask that.
catch
Okay.
a
Yeah.
little pass. It's just Gainwell to score an anytime touchdown and Philly to win the game.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna ask that. I was gonna ask this if it's specified. So that's even
no,
better for you because Gainwell's not a bad receiver out of the backfield. You're not gonna confuse him for like Marshall Falk or anything, but
right.
he can get the ball out of the backfield as a receiver, and haven't seen him dart one in, or kind of juke one in. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, they had a player like that. It was Corey Clement,
Yeah,
in the last
I
Super Bowl
remember
they
it.
played against New England. Now he was a much more accomplished receiver at the time, and he had 100 yards receiving in the game. So that game was a shootout, a complete shootout. So I'm not saying Gainwell's going to do that, but for you to say he's going to score a touchdown, I get down with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. And then just in case, this is a just in case bet, so to speak. Everything we've said goes wrong. Chiefs somehow come out and win. I've got Mahomes to score a touchdown and the Chiefs to win at plus 950. I think that's worth a couple dollar
Yeah.
sprinkle because I could easily see the defense honing in on Kelsey and Mahomes do a little bootleg out and around and walk in, or Mahomes magic run. I just I think if the Chiefs win, he's going to be scoring a touchdown. And then the most obvious one is Kelsey to score a touchdown and the Chiefs to win. It was only like plus 200. Uh, if they do win, you got to think Kelsey's going to score a touchdown because that's what he does.
Yeah.
But so
Mm-hmm.
that one's kind of a gimme, but it doesn't quite pay nearly as good as the other ones. So those were some of my player combination prop touchdowns. Did you have any more for us?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up backup running back. I'm gonna do it too. So
Heck
the
yeah.
Chiefs, running back Jerick McKinnon has been quiet these playoffs. Anybody that had him on their fantasy team probably won their championship. That's what happened in our league because he's not a guy that you spend a lot of capital on. And dude was
Right.
putting the ball in the end zone every week,
Every week. He
every
turned
week
into
up to the
Austin Eckler at the
right,
end of the season out of
right.
nowhere.
So imagine you had both of those guys. I mean, that was set and forget as far as your lineup goes. But he's
Yeah.
been quieter in the playoffs this year, and most of it, I think, if not most, if not all of those touchdowns he was scoring were receiving touchdowns. He
Yeah,
is their primary weapon out of the backfield.
definitely.
And in a game where we believe that the Eagles are going to be ahead and be in control, then McKinnon's going to see the field more than Pacheco, certainly more than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who, by the way, is being activated for the
I
game.
was going to tell you
Yeah,
that when you were
yeah,
done speaking, I saw this morning that he was activated, and Mecole Hardman is officially out
right,
with a pelvis. So
yeah,
get Clyde, lose Mecole. It's kind of a wash in my
yeah,
eyes. Pacheco and McKinnon should be ahead of
yeah.
Hilaire, but
So with McKinnon seeing the field and the Chiefs in catch-up mode, and McKinnon's receiving prop at 20.5 yards, I see him doing it. I see him potentially leading the team in receptions. That'd be all the short variety. I could see something like an 8 catch, 68-yard game. So when I can see something like that and I see 20.5, there's no reason not to jump on that. It's just like the Watkins line. It's minus 115 in either direction. So if you wanted to pair those two together, that wouldn't be too bad. You're only rooting for 32 yards. Of course,
right.
they can't, each one has to do his contribution. It can't be all in one
Sure.
player, but I don't think it's too much to ask in that scenario. So, yeah, McKinnon, 21 yards or over 20.5 is what I like.
No, I think it's a great bet. I think if Pacheco's in, they're going to be rushing the ball, and if McKinnon comes in, they're most likely going to be throwing it. So I that's a to me that's a great play there
Yeah.
for sure.
Did you have another one? Because I got one more if you don't have another
I
one.
got one
Yeah.
more.
You give me yours, I'll give you
This
mine.
yeah, this one's kind of funny. It brought me back to a scene from How I Met Your Mother where Barney's like, I lost every bet for this Super Bowl. I even lost the coin toss. Ted, what's the odds of losing the coin toss? We got plus 100 for heads, plus 100 for tails. Take your pick. Throw $5 on it and
Do they
double it
really have a
up. I
plus
mean,
100?
yeah, it's this morning. I just checked
That
it
must be
before we
a
got on.
promotion. Yeah, because usually they want to juice it down.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
giving it. They're offering both at plus 100 on, and all my props come from DraftKings. Where we work,
we should
we
mention that. I
can't
did
use
DraftKings too. Yeah.
FanDuel due to our job, so we have to use other books. Whichever one you all like, that's up to you. But all my picks come from DraftKings and Pete's as well. But yeah, they have the coin toss at plus 100. If you're feeling really froggy, this is the best bet you're going to get odds wise. It is a
Yeah.
true 50-50. It and if you're looking for a quick double up, you don't have to worry about anybody scoring. You don't have to worry about anybody winning. You don't have to worry about anybody getting a certain amount of yards or catches or whatever. This might be your bet.
Yeah. And you don't have
I
to know
might. I'm
football.
gonna right, right. I mean, I'm gonna
Might
put
bet if you
five
don't.
bucks on heads. I always go heads. It
Me too.
seems like heads comes out more often than not in the Super Bowl. So for what that's worth, it's kind of like the big screen on the roulette wheel showing you, well, this number just hit and this
All
number hit and this
right.
doesn't matter. It's all the same odds. But
Yeah.
I'm going heads.
Yeah, heads would be my pick too if I had to
You
choose.
can
Absolutely.
real quick. You can also parlay this. They have another pick where it's the team that wins the coin toss to win the game. So it's like Philly to win the coin toss and win the game, Chiefs to win the coin toss, and the odds were pretty enticing. But I'm like, man, that's a lot to happen. So
Yeah,
I'm not
and
going to
that's
do that. I'm
random.
just doing a straight heads or tails. Come on, heads.
Let me wrap up these props here with
Yeah.
one last pick. And I like to, we were talking about price shopping,
Yeah.
and this is an interesting a line here. So obviously the point spread is 2 points or whatever the point spread happens to be in any
It was a
game.
1.5 while
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
So let's just say the spread was 5 or whatever. Once you clear that 5, they could win by 100, and your bet's good. But you can also bet in a range.
Yeah.
So you specify, or the book specifies a specific range, and it has to fall within that range. If it's too little or too much, it's no good. So that's what makes it risky.
Right.
But for the Eagles to win the game by between 13 and 18 points pays you plus 1,000. So basically 10-1. So whatever you bet, the sportsbook will put a 0 at the end of your bet and return that money to you if you win. So you bet $20, they give you $200. You bet $8, they give you 80. Of course, the problem here is if the Eagles wind up really blowing them out, you lose your bet. So it's
Right.
kind of in that range. I see about a 14-point game, maybe a 17-point game. I don't see it straying too far away. So that's one way to try to maximize some money. If you're looking, again, you put $5
Right.
on it. You
And it
can
gives you a little
string,
wiggle room.
yeah, gives you a little wiggle room, but it restricts you at the same time.
Right.
But if it hits, your payout's much better. So, yep, those are our props. Those are our picks for this year's Super Bowl. I want to put one little addition into what Steven said about gambling responsibly, which of course 100% agree with that. I would ask everybody to also enjoy the game responsibly, and just make sure you're either at home or with friends, or have somebody that can take control of the car whenever necessary, or have other arrangements made. It's so much easier now than it used to be, man.
Yeah.
Uber, Lyft, all that stuff. Supposed to call in a cab. So, yep, be responsible, have fun, make little bets with your friends if you want. One of my favorite kind of bets is what's going to happen on this next play, and the loser's got to drop down and get 5 push-ups, something like that.
That's fun.
Or if you are underage and you feel like you want to represent your team, you and your buddy make a bet, and whoever loses has to clean the other guy's room. Do something fun like that. Don't involve money in it if you're if you're underage. Act like you're a mayor, but not a dumb mayor like Cincinnati's mayor. So so yeah, please enjoy the game responsibly. Enjoy the game, period. Enjoy football, because it's going to be gone after this week. But
so sad.
the football calendar never ends. So thank you, everyone who came to watch, and I ask that you like, share, and subscribe to this video, please. And I'm going to sign off on my own here. I'm going to hand off to Steven to give you all the internets that we do. I did that wrong on purpose. I know what the word is. So for me, everybody, thank you. Good night, or good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be watching, whenever you happen to be watching. Steven gonna take us home.
All right, guys. Yes, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Catching Flies podcast. If you wouldn't mind, please subscribe, like, share the videos on YouTube. We're going to be on there every Tuesday. Hoping to maybe do a Friday show soon if the numbers keep climbing. You can follow us on Twitter at Catching Flies W1. Follow me on Facebook, Pete on Facebook. We post a link to our shows as soon as we get them up. So just appreciate all the support, appreciate everything, and we'll see you guys back here next Tuesday, and we'll recap the Super Bowl and have some new fun stuff to go over, and I guess the draft would be about next as far as NFL goes.
So the NFL goes free agency,
free
and then the draft.
agency.
Yeah,
So we
basically
might
all the
dive a
player
little into
movement.
that. Yeah. Dive a little into that, maybe go from there. If there's anything you do want to hear us talking about, reach out to us, send us any messages, comments. We'll be more than happy to cover them. So thank you guys for all the support. Much love, and go catch a fly. Boom.